I'm going to be showing you a live walkthrough call where we talk to a wholesaler and we have that exact conversation so you can see how it's done in order to find the right opportunities for JVing. Not every deal is worth working when you JV. So let's dive right into this live call where you guys can see exactly how to have a conversation with a wholesaler to determine if that wholesale deal is worth working and finding a buyer for it.
You just go to investorlift.com. And this is to where like I would click sign up. This is me creating a free account as, hey, I'm a buyer interested in looking at deals. Right. Yeah. So you'll want to create this real quick. It's completely free. It doesn't cost anything. So InvestorLift, their client is the wholesaling companies helping them sell deals. So they want all the buyers to come to the website, see the deals for sale and buy them. So it's free. It doesn't cost anything for us to look as a buyer at the deals that are currently available. Basically what we're doing is, we're going to start in an area and pick a market. And, I pick a property. And so, let's see, where's the number? Hey, look at that, Matt. You've already got a deal for sale here. So we're going to call this Matthew here.
Hey, this is Matthew.
Hey, Matt, what's going on?
Hey, it's going good. It's going good. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Well, it'll be going better if we're able to make this deal work. I was calling, I don't have the exact address, but I saw the 3-bed, 2-bath in Lancaster.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 1,700 square feet.
Yeah. Is this Bradley or Brad?
No, it's not Brad. No, my name's Nathan. Is Brad who you're looking for? Did Brad buy it already? Am I able to?
No, I've been talking to a few people, and I wasn't sure. And something popped up on my phone, and I was like, I don't think that name rings a bell. But yeah, no. So tell me some more. You said you had a chance to look at the house.
Yeah, I was wondering if you would you be able to just either text me the address? Is it still available?
The one in Lancaster is available. It is 1,300 square feet though, just for clarification.
Oh, okay. Was it just like a typo on the website or something, or
on the website? Oh, where did you see?
It's got like the 2-car attached garage in the front of it. I'm looking on the InvestorLift right now.
That's what popped up as the address. When the address was put in, that was included.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I mean, no. So it's 1,300.
I believe it's 1,300. Let me double check though, because it's usually accurate. I usually don't have a problem when it comes to data being connected in full and completely. But let me double check. I'm pulling it up right now. Yes, so it is 1,308 square feet. I believe InvestorLift included the attached garage, which is 400 square feet. So it is 1,300.
Is the garage, is that like converted into living space, or like is it a garage?
It is a garage.
Okay. All right, cool. At a quick glance here, I didn't really see much as far as notes on like condition of the property. Do you have like any additional notes on condition?
Yeah, so the HVAC, it's a weird looking HVAC, but what we know for sure is that it's dated and it probably needs an update. Is it working? Yes. So that's a plus if you're looking to rent it. But in terms of flipping it, you probably need to get it replaced.
Do you know how old it is?
There was like a sticker that looked like a fossil. So there wasn't too much we could interpret from that. But regarding the roof, I believe the roof is, let me double check this. I believe it's relatively new. Yes, it's a 2022 roof.
Okay.
And then the electrical, no known issues. Same thing with the plumbing and or water heater. And then only thing else is the foundation. It did walk, pretty flat. No significant cracks were noticed, but there were like a couple hairline fractures in the sheetrock that, could be due to a multitude of things. But in terms of walking the house, it wasn't like significant sloping or anything like that.
Okay. Do you think the foundation might need any work?
I think you can probably get away with leveling it. Like when you do the floors, you just make it all flat. I think that might be the better play than. I don't think the structure integrity is at risk here.
Okay. Has anyone else walked it and like, I mean, whether agree or disagree, has anyone else like walked it and been like, we think it's a foundation issue?
Yes, I have had one person walk in as a pocket buyer of mine. They're running their numbers right now, but they do have a tendency to lowball me.
Oh yeah, you gotta love those guys, right?
Yeah, but we've done business before, so
That's cool.
So yeah, they walked it. They thought it was fine. The roof is fine. Their main concern, if any concern at all, was the potential plumbing. But I mean, they have their guys that are all plumbers, and it's not too much of a problem for them. But that was like the main thing for them, and that's outside of cosmetics. That was about it.
Okay. What was it they were concerned about with the plumbing?
I think it's cast iron plumbing.
Oh, okay.
For this one, but that was their main thing.
Yeah.
And they said like once they go in and do the plumbing, they'll probably adjust the foundation anyway, since it's gonna it's gonna get beat up a bit.
Okay. So they were just concerned because it's cast iron, but there's no issues with it. They just don't like that it was cast iron.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Exactly.
There's two guys that I work with that I know specifically would be really interested in this. If I'm able to bring a buyer to the table, are you guys able to work with me?
Yeah, of course. And so you're a wholesaler. Do you work with any major shops, or are you kind of independent?
Independent.
Okay. Oh, good deal. And you said your name was Nathan, correct?
Yep.
Great. Awesome. And have we spoken before?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. No worries. So hopefully, this will leave a good first conversation and lead to some business. But to answer your original question, we definitely are open for you bringing a buyer to the table.
Am I seeing this correct? I think it closing May 1st. Is that
yes.
what you guys are looking for? Is there like flexibility on that, or is it like hard close date of May 1st?
Ideally, we want to be as close as possible to that. But if we do need to wiggle a little bit, that should be fine because it is a Friday. I mean, from our experience, most Friday closings either happen or get pushed, and is usually one or the other, and it's not really a big of a deal.
Okay.
But what kind of extension are you thinking?
Hopefully won't need one at all, but I just know sometimes, it's like, hey, if we have an offer, that'll be able to work. But if they're like, oh, we want to close like a week or two after that or something, like if that's a deal killer, hey, it's okay. I understand.
Yeah. So for example, if they need 2 weeks from this Friday, I don't think that would be a problem. We just have to get it extended, and we have pretty good rapport with everyone. So
okay, cool.
As long as they know the deal's getting done.
Here is the most important part of this whole thing, because this is where people get caught up, is they have one conversation, or maybe two or maybe three. Every conversation is going to sound like the one I just had. Nate, what do you mean? To where they're like, I'll ask about price. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to get full asking, no problem. Every single person's going to say that or something like that. More often than not.
They're trying to increase their sale, of course.
Exactly. It's like they're trying to sell the deal, right? He wouldn't be a very good salesman if he told me like, yeah, it's priced at 160. I'm really hoping we'll be able to sell it for around 120, 130.
Yeah, he's never going to say, he'll never say that.
Exactly.
Never.
Now, will the property sell at 120, 130? Maybe, but like he'll never say that up front on that first conversation. So the most important part is, and this is to where business a lot of times is more of a psychological game than it is like a logistics one. It's making sure you don't get caught up in your own head of like, oh man, like how am I, I spoke with one buyer and the buyer's saying this is only a deal at like $100,000. And this guy said he's probably got it all sold at 160.
Mm-hmm.
They're all going to say that.
It is. He had a pocket buyer that he's worked with, but he always lowball. I like, okay, what, like $100,000 lowball or?
Right. And even that is like a nice gem to where even he's telling, to where it's like, oh, but they always lowball me and this and that.
Yeah, that was a tell. So
exactly, to where like they never get their asking price. He said we have a lot of interest, but no offers yet.
Okay.
And he said that without me even asking. But I would have asked. I would have asked about that, but he already mentioned it, so I didn't need to ask.
Okay.
And like these are all things I'll tell the buyer. I'm like, hey, yeah, they're saying they're getting a good amount of interest. They think it's a good flip. It's listed for 1,700 square feet, but that's including the garage. The house is really only 1,300 livable feet. He's saying they've got a lot of interest, but no offers yet. Closing May 1st. Why do I want to ask about that? Well, hey, Mr. Wholesaler, when is your time up? Oh, May 1st, we need to close by. Great. So if I call him, the last week of April, and if the deal is still available, no matter what he tells me, I know he's probably scrambling and desperate. So even if this price still said 160, if my buyer is saying he has an offer at 105, like this is how you can win these deals, is because maybe a bunch of people walked it and he was holding out on the 160 offer. So all those buyers are like, that's it. We're just going to move on. And now he might have it under contract for $80,000. The other buyers don't know that. And now it gets close to May 1st and he's like, oh shoot. Okay. I just need to sell this. Let me call those other buyers back. Well, this is real estate. This is real life. None of those buyers pick up the phone. They don't get back to him. And I talked to him the last week of April. Hey, my buyer's still interested, but he's wanting to be at 102.
Yeah.
Right. Or he's wanting to be at 95. I could probably get him up to 100. I'm still going back and forth with my buyer. I know it's a lot lower than what you wanted to be at, but what are your thoughts, Mr. Wholesaler? And this is where you'll win. And you knew to wait, like you knew to follow up to see if it's still available because you knew when the closing date was. All that information that I got about the details of the property, none of that's here, right? So like I'm doing all this work up front for the buyer and I'm letting him know, hey, so here's the situation with the HVAC, the roof, there's no issues with the electrical, plumbing, or the water heater. They're all good. Everything's operational. I do know the plumbing is cast iron though.
What's the cast iron plumbing? I don't.
Flo, I'm excellent as a wholesaler. I know that cast iron is something, but I'm not the guy that knows what that is.
Okay, I'll be like,
flips. For me, I don't need to know what it is. You don't need to know what it is. All that matters is that it is useful information to the buyer. And I know that the buyer finds it valuable when I give him information like that.
okay.
So it doesn't matter it's because I never know any of this stuff. When he started talking about a hairline fracture and the slope and then this and that, my eyes just kind of glaze over.
Okay.
Right. But I know enough to remember, hey, when I talk to the buyer, I'm going to say, yeah, so it looked like, they were seeing like one or two hairline, I said fracture, one or two hairline cracks, they think it's a slope thing, they think just leveling out with the flooring. Right. So I sound really smart. I sound like I know what I'm doing, but I don't at all. I'm just getting it from him. And same thing when we negotiate, when a buyer's like, oh, I can't do this price. I want it at this price. Great, Mr. Buyer or Ms. Buyer, can you give me specific feedback as to why, you need it at that price so I can help do that for you. And then they tell me the specific things and I have no idea what it means, but I know it sounds really good when we use that to explain why we need a price reduction. What I love is right in a 10-minute conversation, there was a lot of stuff we got to learn, and those like cues, you guys will get better and better at picking up on and noticing. And, that's why there's so many opportunities. Your first time having this conversation, you might sound a little nervous. You might fumble, and the person might even, let's just imagine, they're kind of a jerk about it. And they're like, oh, are you a wholesaler trying to daisy chain this? And maybe it goes terribly wrong. Let me try again, and then let me reach out to Chandler and let me get better. This cost me no money. It cost me virtually no time other than my 10-minute conversation with the wholesaler. And that's it. So if it goes bad, it's okay if it does. I promise it probably will, maybe once or twice, even for me. I promise you, I have calls that go bad. That's okay. I'm just going to scroll down and go to the next one.
So that's exactly what a call looks like to a wholesaler that has a deal, to find out if it's worth your time to start working or if you should just scrap it and move on to the next deal. You don't need to be an expert. You just need to know exactly the right questions to ask, and you need to find out if there's an opportunity there, because again, there's thousands of deals out there, but that does not mean that they're worth you working and finding a buyer for. You need to know what questions to find out so you know if it's an opportunity that's worth your time. Now, if you personally want me to walk you through how to get your first deal and how to get the training you need in order to succeed in this business, I want you to go click on the first link below and book a call. And now only do that if you're serious and you want to take action and grow your business. And if you found this video helpful, I want you to comment below what you learned and check out the next video on the next screen right here. See you on the next one.